It's still happy hour with John Gaskins. This round's on me.
Well, it's August. We're looking for more excuses to just bolt into the football season. And when this guy is around, not that he's not a wonderful person to see any of the non-football months of the year, but Kim Nelson, good way to get the juices flowing for high school football season. Practices are starting for you at Sioux Falls Christian next week, Monday?
Yep,
Next Monday, here we go. So he's getting some golf in and gearing up. The all-time wins leader, South Dakota high school football, 43 years as a head coach, starting right out of college, out of Dakota State, Millbank, Rapid City Central, Sioux Falls, Washington, Edina, Minnesota, and Sioux Falls, Roosevelt. And then this is your third season as an assistant coach. You're going in reverse order from how most people do it.
Yeah.
And
there's a movie like that. So,
yeah. Benjamin Button. You're the Benjamin Button of high school football coaches.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Well, no, you're supposed to get younger, though.
Yeah, I know.
Or do you feel like you're
waiting for that to happen?
Well, in all seriousness, look, Chargers win the state championship in your first year as an offensive coordinator with them under Jared Smith, who was an assistant of yours for a while at Roosevelt. And so that's why we brought you back on. If anybody wants to hear Kim's life story, we went through it. You were kind enough for well over an hour to go through all the stops and play all the hits.
The 3 highlights of that.
Yeah, oh, come on. But, you know, big thing happened since that chat about a year ago. You won the state title as an assistant, and so that's what we're here to mostly talk about, but also just the journey that year was. So in all sincerity, does it make you feel younger or keep you young to be an assistant coach and to keep going out there and doing it at a high level?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel the same.
This is just what you do.
This is what you do, and I don't know what I would do if I wasn't coaching, because I don't think I can ever get rid of that gene. I think it's kind of a sickness sometimes, you know, but I really like where I'm at, and the players are really good kids and good players, and the coaching staff is a bunch of good guys, and, you know, I don't have to do that. I really feel good about it when I see a message from the head coach, Jared Smith, about a fundraiser that's coming up that I don't have to organize.
I bet.
You know, and I don't even have to come half the time, and travel that he has to deal with, and concussion tests and all those kind of preseason things that are coming up now. That's not my deal.
Yeah.
So I'm, you know, watching some film and drawing some things in the dirt and having a little fun, you know, with my imagination. And we're going to have a coaches meeting probably this weekend and get ready for the practice coming up next week. And you know, I just really like football, and this gives me a chance to stay in it. And sometimes Jared even takes my advice and does what I want.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And you know, before we dig into the football, what other things, you know, have you been able to do and enjoy and occupy some time with, because you don't have to be the head man running the show all year long?
Yeah, I played more golf than I have in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm not a good golfer. I just own golf clubs.
Yeah.
I just bought a new set of golf clubs.
Yeah.
And
that's commitment.
Here's the weird part about it. I always wanted to get fitted for the golf clubs, so they were the right length and the right everything for me.
Yeah.
I was sure that was the problem. And then I go to Osted's and to get myself measured, and I'm a regular everything. Every golf club I picked up, we tried a long one. No, I tried that regular one. Every club was regular. So I could have walked in and bought something off the shelf probably, and it would have fit me the same way.
Yeah.
And thinking that, you know, maybe the golf clubs would make a difference, and not yet.
Not yet?
No.
Yeah.
It still requires a little practice. That's the part that I'm not very good at.
Yeah.
I do go to the driving range maybe once every 2 weeks or so.
That's pretty good, Kim.
Well, for me, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I used to make jokes about do the Allen Iverson practice thing.
Yeah, right.
Know?
Yeah.
Practice.
Yeah.
You know,
I gave that up a long time ago.
Yeah.
I just go out and play.
Well, my son and I go to play quite a bit. He lives in Vermilion, so I go down there to play a little bit. And we've just agreed not to keep score. You know, so don't even ask me what I shoot because I don't know. And but then sometimes I get with guys that want to keep score, and I find out where I'm at, and I think I got to hit to the driving range pretty soon.
Yes, but it's better to find out later, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Than to worry about it. That's a tough thing, especially if you used to be a competitive golfer or you're just a competitive person. I'm the same way, where it's still, I'm getting better and better by the years, but it has had to slowly erode from my system. That if I have a big number early in the round, that it does not ruin the round. It should not ruin the day. I'm out here to have fun.
And then I forget the
we're
score
not working.
Right.
Yeah. But it can be tough to do if you're, especially if you're an ultimate competitor like you.
Yeah,
There's always a scoreboard.
My golf career started in high school
Yeah.
because I was in a really small school. They only had 5 guys on the golf team,
Yeah.
and you could bring 6 to the match.
Okay.
So my father, being the coach at the same high school, not the golf coach, but he's told the golf coach, well, my son's got some clubs, he could go with you.
Yeah.
And so I went with the golf team to almost every match, and I was the 6th guy. And so if by chance somebody had a really terrible day, they could use my score.
Yes.
Never happened.
Yeah.
But
no pressure.
But I went along, and I got to
Yeah.
golf for free and
Yeah.
be with my buddies, and that was my golfing experience in high school.
Yeah.
So I was never really a golf person.
Yeah.
But I love playing, and if I got over losing golf balls, I don't mind that so much anymore. I used to throw my clubs when I was younger because
Yeah.
it was important, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
Good. Baby steps.
Yep, not keeping score has really calmed me down quite a bit.
Good. So that's some good advice for anyone out there.
Yeah.
Do you guys play happy golf? And what I mean by that could mean a lot of things. That means, alcohol could be involved. It could also mean, which can make a golf round much happier. It can also mean, it's a Rich Rosty term. Rich Rosty, the former voice of the Sioux Falls Storm, also caught a lot of high school football back in the day. Great guy. I remember him telling me that's the kind of golf he plays if he's playing by himself or his wife or anyone else. Is if he doesn't hit the ball where he wants to hit it, he'll put the ball where he wants it to be, where he wished he would have hit it.
Winter rules all summer.
His own one-man scramble, I guess.
I do that once in a while.
Okay,
My basketball coach in college used to be the golf coach too, and he said the best club in your bag is your foot wedge.
That's right.
Never pass up a chance to use that.
Yeah, that's right. Judge Smales.
So I do that once in a while.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a lawyer, and you're not the president, and you're not, and no one's keeping track. So that's happy golf.
That's good.
So when you let's walk it back. Shortly after we had this conversation here at the Gateway Lounge. And by the way, before I forget, thank you Gateway Lounge for having us during. It's almost 2:00 when we're taping this. 2 to 7 every day. Twofers from 2 to 7. Jack, Captain, Tito's, and one other that I forget. But it's all twofers, 2 to 7 every day, even Sundays, NFL Sundays, the football games, glorious here at Gateway Lounge, just off of the I-29 41st Street exit. But when we were here a year ago, you were just about to get into this, and you're just going to see how this was going to go. You've had a good fit with Jared Smith. After a couple of years of or after one season of being at Roosevelt and being a freshman coach, you had decided, I want to work with varsity players, and Jared gave you a shot. Yeah. Jared told me after the season was over and you had won the state title that Kim Nelson, all-time wins leader, 43 years, all he's really known has been being a head coach. That you walked in and within 5 or 10 minutes talking to everybody in probably the weight room was the first time you saw everybody, that it had felt like you had been there for years. What did it feel like to you? What did you walk into?
Yeah, it didn't feel like I'd been there for years, that's for sure.
That's the way you made them feel.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Uh-huh. But remembering learning their names, because I don't see them every day.
Yeah.
Until the season starts. I mean, in the off season was when I started going there, and I would only go up when there was a workout or something, 3 days a week, stay for an hour. When they're done, I go home. So trying to figure out who's who, and everybody's got, I've noticed, at this high school age, they all have similar names. Like Caden and Jaden and
Cooper and Canyon.
Yeah, I mean they're not like when I was growing up where it's John and Mike and Jim and Tom. nobody calls their kid that anymore.
Eddie and Billy and Steve and Rick.
Yeah. So
George Carlin has a great bit about that, by the way.
Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of our coaches is Darion Smith. Well, his oldest son is named Darion Jr., so I got that one figured out. But his next son is Dair, and the other boys I don't know because I'm not with them very much.
Yeah.
So, but it took me a year to learn how to say those and certainly how to spell them.
Yeah.
And that was the hard thing for me because I'd want to coach a kid, and maybe he's walking away from me and he can't really hear me, and I can't think of his first name, and I don't want to say, "Hey, you running back."
Yeah.
But I did sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I had to work on that, and that usually came easy for me as a head coach because I was always looking at the list of players.
Yeah.
And I was always dealing with players every day. Sometimes I'd have them in class, and I'm always in the weight room after school, so they're always there to see me there. I go to their basketball games. So I had to start going to Sioux Falls Christian basketball games and getting to know the guys that are playing basketball, the ones that are in the bleachers, and it took me a little while to do that. But I'm still working on it because, every year a new class of freshmen come up, and I don't know them either.
Yeah.
So I'm not very good at that. So I have to practice, and hopefully I'll get better. But that's the first obstacle, I think, for me. And then just, Jared and I have a lot of the same thoughts about football and a lot of the same philosophies, but not all the same. And we're using the same kind of offense, but he's changed the names of the plays. I used to use numbers all the time, and he uses words. He uses words for that, and I'm learning a new language, and I find I'm not a very good learner either. So I'm really sympathizing with assistant coaches that come in first year.
Yeah.
Never heard this language before, and I can't understand why they don't know it. And I've been running the same stuff for 25 years probably, with the same terminology, and I'm impatient. I was impatient with them, and I'm a lot more patient now with myself because I'm up in the press box calling plays, and it's all of a sudden it's 3rd and 10, and Jared's got on the sidelines, what do we got? And I'm looking at my 3rd and 10 list, and I go, I don't like any of those, and so I can't wing it very well. You know what I mean? Like when I was calling plays on the sidelines, I used to be able to I just had a play, because I'm right there.
Yeah.
And I've lost that a little bit, I think. I'm hoping that when I get more familiar with the players and the terminology, that it'll get easier.
Okay.
But I've had to kind of drop a different call sheet, and because of kind of Jared gave me his call sheet, and sometimes it looks like Japanese to me sometimes, and with all the words that are in there, and that used to be numbers for me. So, woe is me, but it's still fun to call plays. Jared lets me do that quite a bit, but truth be told, when it's really getting tight, he likes to call them.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Yes, he's the boss.
For those that didn't know, Jared Smith was the head coach and offensive play caller for Sioux Falls Christian.
Yeah,
and that's where I was going to go next. Is he told me after winning state last year that in his mind they lost to the Sioux Falls Christian Chargers, lost to Lennox because of him, because he said he sucked in the state championship game in 2024, that they didn't run the ball enough, that the quarterback had thrown it 3 interceptions all year long, threw 3 interceptions in that game, and he just and this is partly why he decided to lean in, because he's the one that called you, right? You didn't call him,
right?
And he said, hiring an offensive coordinator at all has allowed him to be more of the head coach and a culture guy. But he also hired Kim Nelson, so and it worked out. But I think the state championship game, not to dismiss the rest of the season that got you there, was a snapshot of what you were just talking about. which is you're calling the plays most of the time, but you guys agreed to a little veto power when the going gets whenever he wants to. But it sounded like he did fourth quarter. You guys were down by 17.
Yeah, he took over the fourth quarter and called a great.
Well, walk us through that. What did he?
Well, Lennox did a lot of that had to do with Lennox.
Yeah.
Being good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And
you were down by 17 at some point.
At one point, yes.
Yeah.
And our quarterback was making plays by scrambling a little bit. We had a hard time running the ball, and Lennox did a good job of stopping us from running the ball. And they were playing a coverage that was a little unusual. They were playing 5 guys across and still stopping the run. You'd think if you see 5 defensive backs back there, you should be light in the box, but they were good in the box. There are a couple of defensive ends and a linebacker or two that were really good players, and we had a hard time with those guys. But a little bit of it was our execution. We were a little nervous maybe, and maybe thinking that it was just going to happen, because it had been that way in some games during the season. And so I'm looking at my list of plays at the third quarter, and it's, I don't like them. I don't like any of them. And Jared,
that's a tough situation.
That's not a good thing. A good feeling to have. And Jared was on the sidelines with kind of feeling the same way, and he said, let's just go to our base formation, which is 2 tight ends, full house backfield, Canyon Prinz at quarterback most of the time, our big linebacker. And fortunately, he was an awfully good passer too. Probably would have been our backup quarterback if he wasn't playing linebacker all the time. And so we went with a short yardage package, and whenever we do that, he takes over the play calling because it's his. And so...
And by the way, I mean, most people know this, but I'll interject. That's not exactly Kim Nelson football for most of your career. You didn't incorporate tight ends very much. You're known for as a spread set kind of guy, one running back, and in this set you got a wing back, a fullback, a running back, and a tight end.
It's way too busy back there.
And and you've said yourself, we talked about the Kim Nelson way of life on this chat last year, that in general running the ball a whole bunch bores you. It bores the fans. That's always been your philosophy, and everyone has watched that unfold. So for you, and as a guy who's a head coach and the offensive play caller for 43 years, and now you're not the boss, and the boss says we're going to go to that, which is not your bag.
Opposite of me.
What do you do?
I just supported every call he made.
I know you do that, but was that hard?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You're just like, I surrender. I don't want to, but you're the boss.
And I had plays.
Game.
Sure.
Yeah.
I had plays. I was looking at plays, and I thought, that might be a good call. And then I'd hear what he called, and I'd go, oh boy. Honestly, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this. I don't like this. Boom, first down.
Yeah.
The next play, 5 yards. Next play, 3 yards. The next play, first down. And I'm going, this is all right. It's boring. It's still boring to me. Until we scored. I mean, we scored one. I'm going to take credit for one touchdown pass. The second to the last touchdown pass. It was in the third quarter. And we just gotten a turnover. We just got an interception. And I said, we got to take a shot here. And it was a play that I actually even kind of designed. I hate to take all the credit here, but I'm going to do it for a second. And we ran it, scored a touchdown on one play drive, touchdown to Nick Popkis. And from that point on, we struggled. Yeah. And then Jared took over in the fourth quarter, and it was really strange because we had some injuries, so we had to sub some kids in that were playing positions that they didn't know. And we brought Jude Prince in, who was usually a running back in that formation. We moved him out to a flanker, which was the turning point in the last drive that we scored on, because we rammed the ball right down their throat for 2 or 3 first downs. And then we had, I think, a 2nd and 8 or something like that. And we just threw a fade to Jude. And that one, I heard later, came from our running backs coach, Darion Smith. Thought we got a mismatch out here because Jude is really fast. Yeah. And he just took off down the sidelines, and Canyon Prince, our linebacker, threw him a perfect touchdown pass.
It turned out to be the winning touchdown.
Turned out to be, with Lennox's 70-yard drive in the last minute to almost win the game. Yeah. But yeah, it was I'm not going to say a humbling experience for me. It made me realize that I don't have to make every call. That Jared, and I didn't make every call during the season either. He took over other games at times when he felt like, we need a kick in the butt here, or we need to change things around. And he's the head coach. That's his prerogative anytime. And it made me realize that being an assistant coach, sometimes you have to just shut up and cheer him on.
Yeah.
And so that was good for me. And I'm hoping that I'm going to know the offense a little bit better. Maybe I'm going to learn how to run his base formation a little better. Or maybe, I don't know yet what we're going to do completely, because every year you got different players, so you change things, So we might not run the same exact formation as the base formation, but we don't have big running backs like we had last year. We have small, fast guys. Our quarterback's going to maybe be more of a runner this year. He's really fast and really smart. I think he'll take care of the ball and not get hurt. All right, that's that's the first prayer of the day.
What's the name?
Yeah,
is it Cooper Strandy?
Yeah,
because he's back. He was a sophomore last year.
He'll just be a junior, and he's really a good player.
Okay,
he's coming around.
I want to get more into that, but I will backtrack to. First of all, I'm just curious in the moment in some of these games, including the state championship, when Jared decides he wants to take over the play calling. How does he communicate that? What words does he use?
He just says, I think I want to see I want to run our base formation for a while. And I said, I'm all for that, because I don't have anything for you.
Okay. And
some words like that.
And so then that he's going to be calling the plays.
Yes.
Okay, from here to forth.
Yes, and I'm still communicating down and distance, and if I see something that might help him, like they're playing man on Jude or something or whatever.
Because you're still the eye in the sky.
Yes.
So he's certainly encouraging that from you.
But it was more of I felt like it was more of he called it by feel more that last drive, because it was every running play was inside the tackles, and our running backs and our quarterback ran the ball. We didn't always block everybody, but we'd break a tackle, spin out, get a first down. I mean, it was just a momentum changer for us. We started knocking them back a little bit, feeling better about ourselves, and it turned out to be a really good decision. So
you said it was kind of humbling. Did it feel helpless? Like what kinds of feelings or emotions are you processing when, again, you're used to being the head man, you're used to calling offense all the time with full authority, and now here you are in a state championship, and it's a guy you've worked with for a long time and respect, but still, you're you. Does that what's that like to go through?
Well,
you just sit back and watch, and it's okay, or
when I was a head coach, I always wanted more information from the press box.
Yeah,
I just never seemed like we got enough, and part of the deal was that we went through some years where we had coaching changes, and like Fredenberg went to be a head coach, and Vince Benedetto went to be a college or head coach at Jefferson, and Jared went to be a head coach, and so we've got guys that are, I think, getting better jobs, but not helping me out anymore.
Yeah.
And so I'm coaching coaches in the press box, and they don't know my offense well enough. And, so I felt that I don't know Jared's offense well enough to give him good advice right now.
Yeah.
And I thought I need to let him call the game. And so maybe because of the experience I had, like when I was the head coach on the sideline, I had to come up with something because I was also the play caller and the head coach. In the press box, I felt I tried not to feel like I was letting him down, but I felt that way a little bit because I wasn't giving him a better play call.
Yeah.
But I thought at the time to switch to the base formation was a good thing for us. I didn't say anything because I wasn't positive, but it turned out to be a really good thing, and Jared knew it really well, and we worked on it every week. And sometimes I thought we're wasting our time, but obviously not.
Yeah.
So I got to give Jared all the credit for that fourth quarter and bringing us back to win the game, and good for him.
I was going to ask you the difference between coaching from the press box and on the field, especially calling plays, when, again, the field was what you were used to your whole career. You kind of explained some of it. Is there any more to it?
The hardest part is not watching the ball. I mean, when I'm the head coach and I'm calling on the sidelines, I'm watching the ball anyway.
Yeah.
In the press box, I should be watching the defense.
Yeah.
I wanted my guys in the press box to be watching the defense.
Okay.
To see, and I sometimes would have two guys in the press box. One is assigned to watch the opposite side of the field, like the other hash.
Yeah.
And then one guy's closer. I mean, and I'm right there closer too. I can see what's going on there. I need somebody looking over to the other side of the field to see what's going on. And I had a really hard time training myself to do that. I still am not very good at it.
Okay.
But I have to try to get better at that, because I still called the game the same way I did when I was a head coach, and that was a lot of it by the seat of my pants. I mean, I would make a 20-play script.
Yeah.
Right hash, left hash, really looks good. We practiced it all week long. Players know what's coming, and on game night, I'd get through 5 plays, and I'd go, I'm not going to call that stuff. And I know, I feel like now I have to be better at believing in my script, and believing in the things that we did during the week, and believing in the things we saw in film. Unless the team that we're playing comes out in something that we never saw them do before, But it's different for me. I can see more of the field, but I'm not taking advantage of that like I should. And I hope I get better at that. It's very different.
Yeah.
When you're not the head coach and you're calling the plays up in the press box, you can see a lot, but you have to see the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
do you miss the ability to communicate in person, face to face with your offense
all the time?
Okay.
Yes.
How does
every day.
What is that?
There's no solution to that.
There's no.
I tried to start the season by telling my quarterback, every time you come off, go grab a headset, and we'll talk. All right, because some of our coaches are like offensive coaches have headsets, and when we're on defense, they don't need them.
Yeah.
And so he just gets one of the receiver, like JT's headset a lot, and then he and I would talk. Well, that lasted about a game or two, and then I didn't have anything to say to him a couple times, so he didn't come over there after a while. And it's something that I need to get better at, having a kind of a guideline of things to cover. And I'm working on that right now. I want to, whenever I talk to my quarterback from the press box, these are the things I need to ask him in this order every time he comes off the field.
Do you want to be in the press box, or is that just where Jared wants you to be?
I need to be up there.
You need to be up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut if I was on the sidelines. Yeah. And I try to. I don't like it when coaches are yelling at the referees and always yelling at the players. I mean, sometimes you have to yell at the players because they can't hear you. All right, but I would just be another noise.
Yeah.
And I'd rather learn how to be in the press box and be more of a contributor there than yelling at people.
Gotcha.
Right?
So, by the way, I don't know, have you read the Stu Whitney's book about Bob Burns yet?
No.
Okay.
No, I'd love to get it. I got to.
I mean, it's wonderful. The war stuff, itself, is incredible, and then it transitions to a very decorated and colorful football career. And we had Stu on in June. We highly recommend folks listening to that conversation, which was all about the book, but certainly I recommend the book. Part of this was obviously his very last coaching stop at O'Gorman, leading the Knights to the first ever official state championship off of an actual tournament in the Dakota Dome. But one thing that blew me away was that he was the head coach, and he was coaching from the press box. Because he ran the offense.
Yeah.
He was the head coach calling plays from the booth. And I mean, he had Steve Keeter as an assistant. Yeah. I think Keeter was defense.
He was to start with, I think.
Yeah. But he had experienced assistants that could communicate with players, and so obviously he trusted them. But you don't hear about that happening too often.
No, I tried it one time.
You did?
I tried it one time.
When was this? Where was this?
I was at I think it was maybe Roosevelt, but early when I was at Roosevelt, and I went up in the press box in Rapid City, and I was the only one there.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't take all of our coaches to Rapid City We only got one bus. Don't get me started.
Okay.
But so I was going to try it up in the press box.
Okay.
And I didn't make it to the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle of the second quarter, I'm running down the field, and I never did it again. Yeah. So it's a very important place, I think, and it's a very hard thing to do, to be good at seeing what you need to see from the press box. Josh Siegfried, when he coached with us at Roosevelt, was one of the best at that. Yeah. If he went to the press box,
he was a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. And he always came in at halftime and fixed things. He always knew what was going wrong, and he would fix it. And that's what I needed from people in the press box. I need them to be able to come down at halftime and say, hey, our wide zone's not working because we can't do this. Okay, I need to have more solutions for things that are not working. So I have to learn to watch different things.
Yeah, okay. I got a couple more for you on the way out.
Okay.
For one, we don't need to go through the entire lay of the land of the team. You mentioned the quarterback Cooper Strandy is going to be back, but how do you feel? And you said there's going to be some different players, but you're preparing for the season as you start practice on Monday. How do you feel about what you got, at least with your offense?
Well,
Sioux Falls Christian.
Pretty good. We have really good skill kids and good speed.
Yeah.
We basically have 4 receivers back that are. This doesn't mean anything if you don't know how we train, but they're going to run 21 miles an hour in high school, which is really good. They're going to run 4.6 or better in the 40. Our quarterback is that fast. Jude Prince is maybe our quickest guy. He's the one that. Yeah, he's the one that is hard to tackle. Really
Grant Wassenaar, the future Drake Bulldog basketball player.
We're hoping Brant's going to come out. Brant, yeah. We're working on him. He's got a lot of basketball going on.
Right.
But Jesse Whitty started at flanker last year. We lost all of our tight ends almost from last year. They were all seniors and played linebacker. But Ryan Dealman from the basketball team is a 6'9" tight end. So our quarterbacks can, if they can't see anybody open, look for the one helmet that's higher than everybody else.
Okay.
And throw it in his direction. He catches the ball really well, and is he played offensive line before too. But and we got another tight end or two that are pretty good too. And I think our skill guys are going to be as good as anybody.
But to truly simplify it, returning quarterback, 1 year better, returning offensive coordinator, 1 year better, knowing the language a little bit better. What did you notice and like about Jared Smith just as a head coach?
Oh, Jared is really the right guy for this job. All right, he's a very Christian man. He's very serious about that side of that thing, and that when you're in a school named Sioux Falls Christian, you need the right guy at the top of the list, and he's the right guy. He does a great job with the culture of our team. He does a great job. He hires parents to be coaches. Most coaches you would talk to would try to stay away from that as much as possible, but he's not afraid to have hard conversations with parents about their son and whether or not he's ready to play. I don't miss that.
I bet you don't.
And I don't think he likes it either, but he's good at it. He handles that situation really well.
Yeah.
He's allowed me to. He listens to my input.
Good.
And
that helps.
And sometimes he actually does what I think is good.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I'm valued, and I appreciate it.
Good. Last one is a bigger picture look at Sioux Falls Metro football from a guy who's still coaching in it and knows plenty of the people coaching in it and working in it in the public school system of Sioux Falls and the grander thing. And, you're not too far removed from your days at Roosevelt. And, your nephew, Matt Zimmer, obviously has been at this a long time, so he's had some poignant remarks whenever we've brought this up about how, Brandon Valley and Harrisburg, the suburban schools, Sioux Falls Jefferson, almost a suburban school, and a brand new school that took a lot of your players and a lot of Roosevelt students away. Which naturally is going to happen when you build a new school.
Yep.
You got those three kind of on the periphery as some of the powers. Lincoln's really been crushing it as a public school in the middle of town with Jared the last few years. But schools like Washington, who has a lot of students and players who just don't know football this is the first time they're playing football. These are some kids from other countries, and they get recruited for football because they're athletes. Roosevelt also has some of those. But it's been kind of the stronger getting stronger, and then the ones having a tougher time, it feels like it just gets tougher for them.
Yeah.
How do you look at it, and either how that came to be or how it can resolved, or are things cyclical or what?
I kind of believe that they are.
Yeah.
I remember coaching at Washington. The big question then was who's going to beat O'Gorman.
Yeah.
And we complained about O'Gorman recruiting players. Well, it's a private school, and that's how they exist. Get over it. And I remember being at a couple coaches' meetings where we complained about this kid was being recruited away by O'Gorman, and this kid was thinking about going to O'Gorman. Some of our coaches were getting really frustrated. And Jim Trett, our basketball coach at the time, stood up in the meeting and he said, "Listen, guys, it's not going to change anytime soon. What we have to do is coach harder and beat them. Find a way to beat them." Yeah. And it just kind of resonated in my head at the same time. Like, yeah, I can complain about it all I want, but it's not going to change unless we beat them. And if we start beating O'Gorman on a regular basis, nobody ever beats them on a regular basis all the time, but our record when I was at Washington against O'Gorman and after that at Roosevelt was about 500 or so with O'Gorman. And so we couldn't say that they were stealing our kids because we were competitive with them all the time. When Roosevelt finally broke through and won the first state championship by a public school, that kind of opened the gates a little bit for everybody to realize that it's not just O'Gorman and Yankton and Brandon Valley, and so I think that needs to be, we got a new school now. A lot of that changed the boundaries. We're getting kids from different places. Right now, Roosevelt's not getting a lot of athletes coming through their school. They have the same numbers of kids, but they're not getting the athletes. And I hope for their sake that it's a cyclical thing and that it's going to gradually work its way around to being more equal. But I don't know we can't go recruit kids from other public schools. That's not right. It'd be easy to say, well, we need to move the boundaries here. Well, are you going to go through every household and see who has athletes in their house? Right. I mean, you just got to do the best you can with the boundaries and take what comes. And I think eventually it's going to turn around. I hope it does, because it's more fun when everybody's pretty good. Yeah. And you never know who's going to win. Right. And nobody likes to get their butts kicked 50-0 at home against an arch rival. Yeah. So those are tough games.
And it's interesting you bring up O'Gorman, because that's the one school I didn't mention, and yet here they are almost every year. They just kind of sneak around and still win some games and pull out a state title or go to a state final once every few years. And now we're in a place where there's a lot more just recruiting and open enrollment, and anybody can go anywhere. That playing field has been leveled, but yet still the Poppingas figure out a way to be uber competitive with lesser enrollment. And one other point I'll add is, hey, Lincoln and Jared Fredenberg, his first 2, 3, 4 years, it was rough. They were in a terrible spot, and he just grinded. Yep. And now some players want to go play there, and they win a bunch.
Yep. One thing I've learned being at Sioux Falls Christian, though, is that kids that go to private schools are different, because they're all coming from successful families. Usually the parents are both together still. Both professionals are working and have really high expectations for their kids in everything they do. In the public schools, it's a little different. We have a lot of those kids too, but we have a lot of kids that are coming from a really tough background, and it's hard to get them to come to the weightlifting in the summer. It's hard to get them to come to all the summer practices and showing up, regularly, because they maybe have one car for the whole family, or maybe mom's working, dad's gone, she can't get them there. They live too far away. It's a different thing, and that. I've learned that in private schools, you don't have those problems. There are other problems, but you don't have those problems where the kids always show up to things, and they'll always come to your camp because they can afford to pay for it. I used to give scholarships for my camp for all of our kids. If they couldn't pay, we'd let them go for free. And you have to try to do things like that to help them out, but you're also a public school, and you can't give things away. You can't pay for things. You can't, you know what I mean? It's a very different atmosphere and a very different culture. But I'm lucky to be where I am right now, and I'm cheering for Roosevelt. I'm cheering for Washington and all the public schools in Jefferson and Lincoln and sometimes even O'Gorman.
Wow, now that's news.
I know.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
This was wonderful, and you've certainly earned it to be in a spot where that harder stuff comes easier. Thrilled with your success. You seem happy.
Yeah.
And you're in football, and you're in a good spot.
I'm in football,
doing it.
man. Yeah.
So I know you'll be watching some stuff and taking some notes and drawing up some new plays and applying them over the next month, and good luck.
And I just want to say that all the plays that don't work came from Jared and not from me.
He's Kim Nelson. That's a good way to walk it off here from the Gateway Lounge as we get closer to high school football season here on Happy Hour.
Thanks,
you, Kim.
John.
Cheers.
You need anything else, John?
No, I think I'm good, Greg. I think I'm going to tap out.
All right. Have a good night.